Alright guys, you're going to notice in this very first clip, here we do the up and running again for Oscar, you're going to notice that I'm a different level than any other clips because I did lose the original clip, and I did it on normal to find out how much it's paying normal, how much it pays on hard as well. I know it pays hard 875k, I'll have to go through the clips later on and I'll explain later on how much it is for being on normal. But on top of that, if you're doing this with two people, bring out the insurgent pickup and shoot back at the plane down. But if you and your friend both have heavy sniper rounds, explosive rounds, you guys can both use those and take it down a lot faster than doing it with the insurgent pickup custom. But I'll talk to you guys here in a few seconds. So this is the best way of dealing with the Cougar up here, is just using sticky bombs and blowing it up out of the car. Considering that the Corvette D5 is bulletproof, you can be able to use this car. You can be shot through the doors being off or anything like that. I guess Rockstar did not realize that when they made the car, but this car is completely bulletproof. Not rocket proof, but bulletproof. But when you guys get down the mountain like I am right now, just driving down the mountain, just watch out because you will get this camera angle like I did and get almost stuck right here. Now right here is where you and your buddy would be using a turn to pick up to shoot the cargo down. But, or if you had explosive rounds like I do in my sniper, you could easily just use the explosive rounds and take it down a lot faster. Also, when doing the Mongol setup, you guys can also use things we're going to pick up custom again, or if you're by yourself, use a Conquest D5, considering it's bulletproof. Use that, and continue to keep going through this mission to kill everybody you need to kill. I'll talk to you guys once we get to the Mongols. Alright, when you're pretty much almost carried by like I have right through here. Treat this with two people, have one person stay back with one of the Mongols, and the first person take off the Mongol, and each time that a jet does get close, just keep pressing right D-pad so you can get the flares that come out of them, and the guy that messes off, and stay low to the ground without hitting anything. Deliver the first Mongol, and then have your friend come in once Oscar has taken out all three of the other jets, as the first person is flew over the airfield, and Oscar has taken them out. That is the best way that I've seen of doing this. I don't know if any other YouTuber talked about this in their tutorials, but this is the way that me and my friends do it. We discovered it, that I know of when we first did this. I was talking to my buddy Doug about this. Shout out to Doug. But that's just how I did it. I'll leave Doug's channel down in the description below, as well. You can check out Doug. But yeah, this is definitely the way that we did it with 2 people. The same thing by myself. You're gonna see how I do it by myself, and you'll also get by yourself as well. But I'll talk to you guys here in just a little bit. now that all the jets are now out of the area, you guys can go ahead and do the next part too with the other plane, is then going back over and destroying all of the little bases that they have around the map here in the Sandy area.